See, the only thing that separates a setter stuck at making $500 to $1,000 a month compared to the one who's making 5, 6, 7K a month is the offer. Because you can be an elite setter, but if you're setting for a fitness program where they sell their program for 1K, then you're going to need around 20 to 25 calls before you even make 1K. But if you're an average setter working for a content agency, you can make the same amount of money with just 3 to 4 calls. And that's exactly what happened to me when I started out in appointment setting. I was setting for below bulk standard type of offer, and my income was capped at 1K until I started working for some of the biggest Muslim names in the space like Tom Defile and Amar Sultan. So picking the right niche could be the make or break in actually building a successful career in appointment setting. So in this video, I'm going to break down all the different types of niches out there and rank them by order, and even throw in 2 or 3 different niches that no one's really talking about and setters are quietly printing cash. We're going to break this down in how difficult it is to land a role, how sophisticated the audience is, and what the ticket prices are, including the earning potential. So pay close attention and prepare to be enlightened. Alhamdulillah, let's go into it inshallah ta'ala. Before we do though, I just want to reset the expectations for a lot of brothers, that the mindset and the expectations are completely incorrect for a lot of setters, in that they think they're contracted to be employed for 6 months, or they need to stay at an offer because they need to grind it out. They won't really have any chance of pursuing a different offer with better earning potential. Now, this is all about value. This is all about skill. This is all about producing outcomes. If you're doing your utmost best to actually deliver results, but the offer doesn't have the right environment, it doesn't have the right marketing, it doesn't have the right systems dialed in, you can only go as far as that offer will allow you to go. Setters, in most cases, are only as good as the offers. Because if you're not on a good offer, then you're simply not going to be able to walk away with the financial rewards that you're really looking for. And this is where setters struggle. They think that they need to choose and stay with that company, when in reality, they have all the freedom to go out there and apply to different roles to suit their expectations. Remember, you are a business. You are the skill. You are the business, and you're marketing your services. Your service is that you will help that company generate revenue. So you can walk away and you can go to another company, or the more wiser decision is to continue applying to roles until you have gone onto another offer, inshallah. And this is a fast evolving market. It's a wild market. There's plenty of offer hopping. You're not going to be scrutinized for it, and it's not going to tarnish your reputation, because at the end of the day, you are taking the role seriously, and the company that you're in, they're not taking it as seriously as you if their systems are not dialed in. So that's one thing I just wanted to cover. The other thing is there's many different niches here. We're going to go through and we're going to rank them in different tiers, as you can see. But there's certain ones that I want you to stay away from, which is the haram ones, where there's riba-induced type of offers. We're talking about financial services. Trading is another one which is very, very dangerous, because the scholars talk about how it's not really permissible, especially forex trading. And then you've got property management. That is a very, very profitable industry. There's a lot of money to be made, but you cannot be working for such companies, because you are facilitating haram, and you don't want to be setting appointments for someone who essentially is going to go buy a haram product or invest it or make a haram investment, because you are an instrumental part in the deal being closed. Now let's go into it, inshallah ta'ala. So we're going to rank these, and I'm going to give you a nice type of criteria for each type of niche that we're going through, and we're going to rank it from low to top. Now, first and foremost, we are going to go on life coaching. And life coaching can be more or less a little bit more vast, not specifically life coaching, but you got maybe self-development courses or procrastination courses. So it all fits under the same umbrella. I'm going to give it a D. And the reason being is because there's a low desire for it. There's not much of a market for it. And most people don't even succeed in these types of programs, from what I've seen. Plus, most companies that are selling these types of offers, their audience is a bit dicey. You might get a vast amount of people, a lot of people who are unqualified, some people who are not serious. This is all about like self-accountability, self-improvement, self-development. And essentially, it's not a very desirable product, and there's not much of a market for it. In terms of the ticket price, you're always looking at something low. It's going to be a low ticket price between like 1 to 2K. We've seen offers, and I'm telling you right now, I've seen offers where the business owner does everything. He does the setting, he does the closing, he doesn't need anyone, because there's not much of a demand for it. He's not making a lot of money for it. And therefore, it means that setters, if they jump onto an offer, they're not really going to make much money. In terms of landing a role, there's shortage of options of landing a role with a life coaching type of offer, okay? Except for the rarities. Great. So we got the next one is the fitness offers, fitness mentorship programs. I'm going to give this also a D. Why? Because it is a little bit easy to land a role through DM setting, but most offers, they're capped. they're not really making much money. We've come across certain offers in the Muslim space where they're earning between 10 to 20k revenue, and therefore the setters are not going to make much money. I had a brother come to me and ask me for a setter, and I kind of vetted him, and it turned out that the OTE was going to be 1k. So essentially, fitness offers, they pay low, the ticket prices are pretty low, between 1 to 2k, and plus the audience is vast. It's a saturated type of niche. Too many offers, too many people talking about how they got a roadmap and how they got knowledge and how they can transform your health. Some will go to the gym in 6 months, they lose weight and they transform their body, and now they think they can be a coach, right? So there's not much of a demand, and audience is vast, and then the ticket price is low, and the income is also low. So I'm going to give that a D. Next one is e-commerce. E-commerce, I'll give it a C. Now, in terms of landing a role, there are a few opportunities, far to come by, but only for certain ones that are doing good in the market. Ticket prices are pretty decent. We're looking at about 3 to 5k in terms of ticket pricing. And audience is a selective type of audience. Maybe it's trying to scale their e-commerce stores or their digital products, or selling a product online, or even want to create an e-com store, right? This is dying out. E-coms, there was a hype around e-com maybe 3 years ago, but that market is really, really dying right now in terms of digital products. More people are focusing on actual mentorship programs to help them earn an income through a high income skill, and not setting up an actual business, because e-com is an actual business. Okay, in terms of ticket prices, like I said, 3 to 5k. So the earnings could be decent, but again, what determines a good company is their marketing and their systems and the revenue that they're producing and their lead flow. And I've seen, unfortunately, it's not strong enough. Okay, next thing we have is Amazon FBA coaching. Now, Amazon FBA coaching, I will give it a C. Now, in terms of the roles that you can land, absolutely, there are some good roles out there, but there's a shortage of roles. It's the minority who have found their feet in the market early on. And now the people who are doing it, as I've seen recently, they're not producing much revenue. And if you're not producing much revenue, then the setters are not going to be able to make much money. In terms of audience, again, it's kind of a business, and you do need some sort of upfront capital. So the purchasing power might be a little bit lower, and the desire to get into this, because of the profitability, it may not be quite there. So that's why I'd give it a C. Now, we did, just to let you know, we had a student of mine, alhamdulillah, Brother Mustafa, who you see up on the screen right now. He actually went on to land a role with an Amazon FBA coach. And don't get me wrong, they were turning over about 100k, alhamdulillah. So at the same time, that was a rare moment. Okay, that was someone he more or less made the leap early on, and he scaled the offer, and they were getting closer to 150. But to be honest, that in itself, it's not really big compared to big figure companies like 600, 700k, and even 1 million. Next, we got Amazon FBA Airbnb coaching. Now, Airbnb coaching, I will give it a B. The reason being is because there's a good amount of roles available. There's appointment setting roles, there's closing roles. I know one closer who I personally had a really good connection with. Now he's working for a different company. He was there for at least 3 to 4 years, and he was making good money. He was making good money because the ticket prices were very high. We're talking 5 to 10k for Airbnb coaching, because it's a very profitable business. If you get it right, if you have the upfront capital, then alhamdulillah, you're going to be able to make a lot of money with this type of business that you have, where you're leasing and then renting the properties. Okay, so Airbnb, I'm going to give it a B, and we're going to give it a B, and the earning potential is high. Ticket prices are usually pretty high as well, alhamdulillah. Next, we have the healthcare industry. And the healthcare industry, I will also give it a B. Reason being is because the audience is very sophisticated. To land a role, it's a bit difficult, because you need some sort of health background, or you've had to have worked in a similar type of niche. Okay, so it's very difficult to land a role. Ticket prices are pretty high, but at the same time, you need a specific, unique type of experience to actually land these roles. So there's a bit of difficulty in there. But I'll put it in the middle, because A, it's a high ticket price, because there's a big demand for online healthcare services. I recently came across a service where they would help their audience or their customers fix their back problems. That was a healthcare offer. They were turning over close to 700 to 1 million from what I remember. And again, they were looking for vast amount of experience, and also experience within the healthcare industry. The next one is content agency. Content agency, I will give it A, because I had a conversation with a setter who was making 8k a week. 8k a week. I'm not even joking. He was making 8k a week. They turn over 1 million. The ticket prices are high, and there's a demand for it, because social media is at the forefront of everything. Businesses need social media content creation, and they lack, because they don't have the time for it, or they don't have a professional that can run it. And it's a long game, right? So I know an agency very well in the non-Muslim market space who, alhamdulillah, they do over 2 million. And landing the role, you need experience. So if you build your experience up slowly but surely, you can land an offer within a content agency. Next one is AI. AI, I will give it the goated category in S. I worked in 2 AI agencies, Tom Defile and also Muslimpreneur. And alhamdulillah, one of my students, Milan, he also went on to land a role with the same company and he ascended to a closer. You can check out Milan's testimonial on the screen right there. And alhamdulillah, this came through my own network. I built a really good solid relationship with this company, and alhamdulillah, through our network, through our program, through the ample pathways we give our students, Milan was able to land that offer. Now, if you haven't obviously checked us out already and you want to see exactly how we might be able to help you in terms of pushing you through to our network and having a community there, a network there of recruiters and business owners that we have access to, so we can accelerate your growth and take away and reduce the time and effort that it really takes to land your first 1 to 5K paying role, ascending to 6, 7, 8K a month consistently. Then check us out on the description below and see if you qualify to work with us, inshallah ta'ala. So AI agencies are on the rise, very profitable. Ticket prices are between 3 to 5K, but these types of companies, they do 6 figures minimum. And I've seen it. I've been in close connection with these types of companies. So I can tell you firsthand that it's very, very profitable. They got good systems. They got good marketing. And therefore, you're going to be able to earn good money with them, inshallah ta'ala, if you ever land an AI agency. And as I said, there's a big demand for it and a rise for it. It's rising. It's growing in the market. AI is taking over a lot of things. And some people even sell these B2B types of solutions of AI automations and operational management. Great. Business-to-business consulting. This is one of my favorites. Business-to-business consulting, I want to give it an S, a goated category, because it's such a high ticket price. We're talking about minimum 7K all the way rising up to 30, 40, 50K. These are intricate, complex systems and consulting services that can transform a business's operations. It could be a SaaS service. It could be a consulting service where they help remanufacture or refine completely the entire sales operational process. So it's a big job. These deals can sometimes stretch a little bit longer, but it's worth it because, alhamdulillah, to give you tangible proof, if you see the link on the page right now, check out my student testimonial with Yaqub, who landed a role with a B2B company. He made $750 from one call. Right? He also gets a base of 2K, and that's after his metrics. So alhamdulillah, this brother who was working with us, he was a perfect example of someone who wasn't earning because he just couldn't find the right offer. He literally came in, and if you check out his testimonial, he'll tell you all about it. In terms of, he came into the program, within a month, he landed the first offer, and that was the first offer, a B2B consulting services, where their packages are between 7 or 5 to all the way to 50K. And I think even stretches to 100. And he's in a team of 6. And there's 3 setting teams. Look how big that company is. So the company is big, the systems are dialed in, the marketing is very good, the revenue is minimum 1 million. He's making good money and he's on a base salary. Alhamdulillah. Last one is high ticket sales. Again, the goated. Why? Because sales is a backbone to any business. It's one of the most demanding skills out there right now. It's lucrative, it's attractive, and it pays very well. Everyone knows that sales is a very profitable niche to get into because there's endless possibilities there. It's uncapped and there's no ceiling to it because you can go from an appointment setter to a high ticket closer to a sales manager to a hiring manager to then a growth operator. There's endless possibilities and your income can scale. And there are many, many companies, especially in the non-Muslim market. The Muslim market, of course, we're finding our feet, including myself, alhamdulillah. These companies are doing millions. They got big teams, they got systems that are dialed in, they do weekly training reviews, and people who do, by the way, just so you know, if you're ever on an offer and you get weekly training reviews, that your calls are reviewed on a daily basis or weekly basis, they are serious about growth. They don't want you to cost them money. They want to continue upholding their standards. So they take training very seriously and therefore you become an absolute beast of an appointment setter or closer in that case. So high ticket offers, I'm talking about high ticket sales offers, the sales agencies, the sales coaching offers, very profitable for that company because there's such a demand for it. In landing roles, it's not tough at all. Ticket prices are anywhere between 5 to 20K. Alhamdulillah. depending on the contents of the package. So there you have it, my dear brothers. That is the tier list. And I'm going to go back to the first thing that I mentioned here. You don't need to send more DMs and look for a higher commission. It all points back to being on the right offer with the right ticket price. And that's what determines whether you can go far in terms of scaling your income. So remember, inshallah ta'ala, that we also have our own program called Remote Risk, where we will help coach and train you, give you lifetime access to our program, and give you ongoing support, even call reviews for when you land a role. But more importantly, it's all about the offer. And we help our students vet offers. We also give them pathways to land offers through our network. Many of our students, as I've mentioned in the session today, have landed roles through our network. So if you really want to see how we can accelerate your growth, if you're serious about this space and you want to stop being on offers where you're simply capped in an uncapped industry, which doesn't even make sense, then check the link below, click on the description, remoterisk.co, book a call with me to see if you qualify to work with us. But inshallah ta'ala, I really, really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment and subscribe. And inshallah, I got plenty more value and insights to give you about this industry and about appointment setting in particular. And I shall see you on the next one.